Hello, my name is Rohan, and I wanted to show this rich text editor that I built with the help of Claude. So, really quickly, a rich text editor is just a text editor that formats a text based off of a syntax. So here, three number signs and a space formats to heading 3, and then I can also do inline elements like that. So these things are actually pretty difficult to build, and there's definitely a reason why people will decide to build on top of an existing editor like VS Code instead of building their own. I wanted to go over. I asked Claude to just summarize what the capabilities of this text editor are. So there are many different keys. There's the enter key. So if I click somewhere in the text, it should move the text. If I click with style formatting, it should also move the styles. Also, I demonstrated just now the backspace. So if I go here, I can move back, right? And that also, so the backspace also demonstrates the edge case at the end. At the end of a particular row, at the beginning, if the cursor position is 0, and at the first cell, then it should move the text up. My strategy was to build a matrix cell style text editor, so that just made it easier because I'm using Dioxus Rust to extract out the syntax, update the editor if I need to, create cells, delete cells, and then format them dynamically on the render. So this was an interesting test because building something like this requires a worldview of some kind. Like, you have to understand that every key press, click, directional arrow is going to have some effect on the editor, whether it be the character position, the character, and the syntax formatting. LLMs just usually have a difficult time understanding worldviews like that. So the enter key, backspace key, I think I already showed the left and right arrows. You can just go. And now, let's see, character input. I think I already demonstrated that. And yeah, so there's a lot of internal. My strategy for building this was to create an event loop, a sequential event loop. So I'm not using object-oriented programming. I instead opted for more of a fat struct, where every operation has an ID, and at that ID I can route to the logic that will execute. I'll wait till the next input, and in some cases I want to ignore updates to the editor. Sometimes I would like to move the cursor position depending on the operation. And so this is basically the outline. I think overall Claude probably sped up the development of this particular app by a large amount. If I needed to move code or write a beginning part of a code, I would just ask Claude to create it for me, and then I would review the output, and then I would be able to direct the LLM. When I had tried to give it something that was a little more vague or abstract, it really wasn't able to foresee what those potential errors would be or might be. However, I think this has been completely amazing. This will definitely change how everybody works in the industry. Yeah, I mean, this opens doors to many different areas, and I think the right way to use this is to be explicit. I wouldn't rely on this as a solution. I would use this as a tool to get familiar with a different area that maybe you don't have as much experience, and then you can build on that by having some understanding of what's going on, right? And that way you can change the design. Here, this is actually my third attempt at building a text editor. The first two attempts, I had designed a solution that worked on simple operations, but then when I tried to scale it up to moving the cursor across different styles or rows, and entering characters even, it just wasn't scaling up. So this new design solution that I was able to build, and that's another thing, I think it's going to be really good at speeding up proof of concepts, and this text editor, even though it's a very complicated piece of software, is something that I can use and embed into another application. So I think that's probably the other place where it's going to be very useful. And yep, that's all. I'm exhausted, so thanks.